Hi, this is Thunder from Booredatwork.com, and today we're doing a versus look at the two top tier Sprint devices. One is the Epic 4G Touch, the other is the Motorola Photon 4G. Now, this wouldn't be like our typical versus videos where we go through three different segments. We're actually just going to walk through both devices and compare them as we walk along. So let's first take a look at the hardware for both of them. First, you have the Epic 4G Touch, which is based off the Samsung Galaxy 2, which was released earlier this year and now in the US. It's got a very thin profile, one of the slimmest smartphones on the market. This sports a 4.52-inch Super AMOLED touchscreen with a 2-megapixel front-facing camera. You also have an 8-megapixel camera in the rear that records at 1080p with LED flash. It's got 16 gigabytes of onboard memory, and like I said, the profile is just very slim. There's a little raised portion here at the bottom of the device, but other than that, it's a very slim profiled device. The Photon 4G is an Android-powered smartphone from Motorola. This also sports a 4.5-inch screen. This is actually a QHD screen, not a Super AMOLED. It's got a front-facing camera, I believe 1.3 megapixels for video chat. At the rear, it's got an 8-megapixel camera with dual LED flash that records at 720p. It's also got a kickstand, which is well known on the Sprint network from the Evo, but actually the Photon is one that has a kickstand now. You do have 16 gigabytes of onboard storage, and this runs Motorola's custom UX called Blur, and the Epic 4G Touch runs TouchWiz 4.0 on from Samsung. So looking at both devices and looking at the UX overlay on Android 2.3.4, you get two different feels from both OS overlays. With TouchWiz is very reminiscent of stock Android in a sense. Doesn't change the look or feel. It adds a lot of things that's similar. A couple of things that are different with TouchWiz in comparison to Blur here on the Photon 4G is you do have this quick scrolling feature that you can access. You do also have the ability to create custom folders and add applications into a custom folder. You also can use the quick scroll feature within the app tray, as well as you can change your view mode within the app tray. So your view type, so you can go from the grid to the alphabetical grid and the alphabetical list altogether. While with the Photon 4G, you do have a traditional lock screen. Your custom UX here has a very different feel. It does still have a similar docking station with apps at the bottom, but it's loaded with a slew of Motorola widgets and apps that give it a very different feel and tone. You also go into the app tray. Your app tray view is different. You can scroll up and down, but you can actually select different app segments or app groups to go to. So you can go to Sprint apps, you can jump and select into your recent apps, recently used, as well as the downloaded apps. So that's the different look there with Blur on the Photon 4G. Another thing that's different also is power controls in the notification bar. Samsung's added that into TouchWiz on the Epic 4G Touch. There's none on the Photon 4G here, and also even the inbuilt power controls widget, which you can apply onto the home screen. On the Photon 4G, it's a basically standard Android power controls. With the Epic 4G Touch, you do have a full layer of power controls, from your Wi-Fi, which you can scroll through all the way through to your sync, your screen timeouts and tips and things like that. So it's a very different set of application use here. Now, some similarities you find here is they both have customizable widgets in here. So basically with the Photon, I could resize my widgets to whatever size I want, or same thing here with Epic 4G Touch. I can also resize my widgets to whatever custom size I feel fit. So it's those are some of the similarities you find with both devices. Also, both custom UIs also, since on the Sprint network, I actually have Sprint ID, so you can actually tap on the Sprint ID icon here on the Photon 4G in the dock and change. You can switch over to clean ID, which basically gives you stock Android 2.3 on your Photon 4G. Similar here too with the Epic 4G Touch. Now you can see this is running stock. Now with the Epic 4G Touch, it's the closest similarity to stock Android. You do have your regular Android dock for your call, and of course the Sprint ID. Your app tray is scrolls up and down. Now with the Photon 4G, it is running a clean version of Android, but you still have your primary dock with your call, browser, and Sprint ID at the bottom. So it's not really full clean version. Your app tray is also still running under blur, so you can switch between app groups. So it's really not a full clean version. And also to switch back, you have to go and hit Sprint ID and switch to my ID. With the Epic 4G Touch, you can easily just hold down on the Sprint ID icon and you can just toggle and switch that way between whichever Sprint IDs you want, or you can just tap it and go back to my ID and switch over, which is something that the Photon 4G doesn't do. Now let's take a look at the cameras. Both have 8 megapixel cameras in the rear and front-facing cameras for video chat. So with the Epic 4G Touch, you do have a slew of camera settings that allow you to take advantage of the 8 megapixel camera, recording at 1080p. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of 1080p recording with the Epic 4G Touch. It's very sharp, very clear, does a very good job at that high resolution. Also, you can toggle through to switch to the front-facing camera for video chat over there. Now with the Photon 4G, you also can get full access to the settings menu. It only records at 720p maximum, and in comparison, I would say the Epic 4G Touch does a better job at video recording at that resolution. And also you can switch over to a front-facing camera, so you can actually see that on here on screen, just showing you how the front-facing cameras look between both devices. Now in the sense, the Epic 4G Touch does a better job because it records at 1080p and the Photon 4G does not. Now both devices are 4G devices on the Sprint network, and 4G speeds are similar with both devices. What you get with Sprint, not doing a speed test because speed test basically depends on what area you are and how good your Sprint connection is, but I would say for my location they're pretty much similar on that. Now concerning battery life, both the Photon and the Epic 4G Touch have done a good job with battery saving. So you can actually go into your settings and you can go to battery and management on the Epic 4G Touch, and you can go to battery and data in the Photon 4G, where with the Photon 4G gives you more robust control measures to actually manage your battery life, where you can go into battery mode, select different modes. You can also custom set your modes altogether. With the Epic 4G Touch, you can turn off certain things, and you can set up your power saver to switch on at a certain battery percentage. Even though the Photon has a more robust battery management system, found out that the Epic 4G Touch just did better on battery life. I tested both devices running a full day, 4G on, Wi-Fi on, as well as having my data sync on for about 4 or 5 email accounts altogether. The Photon did well, lasted for roughly about, I would say about 14 hours in total, while the the Epic 4G Touch pretty much lasted the whole day, meaning from about 10 to about 12 midnight at night. So without still needing to charge at that point. So the Epic 4G Touch, it's very good on battery life. Does a very good job there. Overall, both devices have similar stylings when it comes to widgets and application use. Now with the Epic 4G Touch, you do have a slew of applications that do help increase your experience on the device. There's similar things like a file manager, which both devices have, but Samsung's added a few things like the Media Hub and the Social Hub, which allows you to download movies and videos and things like that. While on the Photon, there is no media or movie access for you to access content and things like that. So that's something that sets apart. Also, although the Photon has a docking system where you can dock it with your computer and basically turn your Photon into a computer, the Epic 4G Touch does something differently, where it uses keys areas where you can actually wirelessly sync your Android smartphone, aka the Epic 4G Touch, to your PC, giving you immediate access to your content from your device wirelessly to your computer, which is not available on the Photon 4G here. Both devices are nice. I would initially say this is based on user preference. If you're on the Sprint network and you want a kickstand, you want a device you can basically use as setup, and then the Photon is really for you. But overall, the Epic 4G Touch, I'd say, wins this because, first of all, it's slim form factor. It's a very light and slick smartphone. Also got a better battery life, even though the Photon does a very good job, but this actually does a fantastic job on battery life. The added features that Samsung has added to the Photon, like the quick scroll, the power bar at the top, the Media Hub, as well as also the voice controls, which we didn't get into because you can also download that kind of application. But Samsung has this inbuilt into the Epic 4G Touch, sets it apart. And finally, of course, the camera. The Epic 4G Touch, in line with most Samsung Galaxy S devices, has one of the best cameras in the industry. Just you can see the wider aperture does help in taking better and clearer pictures, and Samsung has done a fantastic job with that. So it's something to take note if you're looking for a device where you can take pictures on the go, have a good battery life, and also can stand up to any other device on any network. I would say, looking at this pairing and looking at both devices, the Epic 4G Touch is something that you can basically go to any other network and say, do you have something that can beat this? And that is the device I would suggest Sprint users to pick. So in this battle, the winner is the Epic 4G Touch. The Motorola Photon 4G does a very good job coming close. So Sprint users, I would say this is the best phone for you to pick up on your network. So if you guys have any questions, any comments about the versus between the Photon 4G and the Epic 4G Touch, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to all our pages on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all Booredatwork with 2 O's. So this is Thunder saying thank you and always enjoy entertainment.